Um, Hello class. For my presentation, I want to talk about the Norfolk 4, which was a law enforcement uh, ethical intelligence violation. This was the wrongful conviction of four Navy sailors stationed in Norfolk, Virginia. A quick background about the case. In 1997, Michelle Moore Bosco was murdered in Norfolk, Virginia. In the crime scene, there were signs of sexual assault and stabbing. The building housed a few military families, thus the investigators right away pointed fingers at sailors stationed in Norfolk Naval Base. The investigator was Robert Glanford. He was pressured to come up with a solution for this case. The Norfolk police was pressured by the media attention to accelerate its investigation. This increased pressure on Mr. Roberts to identify the suspects. First suspect interrogated in 1997. Uh, Police interrogated Daniel Williams, a sailor who delivered pizza to the victim's apartment earlier that night. After many hours of interrogation, Williams confessed. Investigators repeatedly told him that they already knew he was involved. They even lied and said that they had DNA evidence linking him to the crime. Later analysis showed that the confessions contained inaccuracies and inconsistencies. Violation of individual autonomy and psychological integrity during interrogation is unethical, according to Bellaby. From 1998, from 1997 to 1998, additional sailors confessed. The investigative pressure and interrogation tactics created a chain of false confessions. The detective assumed the murder involved several accomplices. Daniel started naming sailors he knew. The investigators were creating contamination effect, which is when investigators unknowingly shape suspects' statements by revealing information about the case. More violations. Um, Coercive interrogation techniques, which led to the false confessions, the ignoring of contradictory evidence, such as DNA, and the failure to maintain analytic objectivity. According to Bellaby, intelligence and investigative practices must minimize unjustified harm and respect individual rights, such as autonomy and liberty. Ethical analytical implication. The chain of confessions demonstrated several investigative problems. Confirmation bias, which is mentioned by Richard J. Herr. Um, we also have violation of interrogation ethics, which is mentioned by Bellaby, and the failure to prioritize the truth and integrity, which is mentioned by Olson. Instead of testing the alternative hypothesis, investigators attempted to fit the new confessions into existing narratives, which is the group was involved. On reliability, the confessions proved unreliable. Why? Because they contradicted each other. Each sailor described different versions of the crime. Confessions did not match physical evidence. DNA evidence did not match any of the sailors. And the actual perpetrator confessed. DNA identified Omar Balar, who confessed. He said he acted alone. After all this, the prosecutor still continued to convict the sailors. Key lesson: the Norfolk case. One false confession can trigger additional confessions, especially when investigators assume the first confession to be true. This shows that confession-based evidence can be dangerous. Investigators need independent verification. Had the investigators used an intelligence perspective, they could have prevented the errors using the structural analytical methods. According to Bellaby Just Intelligence, this was unethical because there was harm to autonomy during the interrogations, harm to liberty, harm to the privacy, and harm to mental and physical integrity. As I said already, Howard states is confirmation bias and also premature closure. The police concluded earlier that they had solved the case and failed to consider any alternative explanation. And for Olson, I think that he would say unethical intelligence practices ultimately undermine the credibility, effectiveness of the institution. So maybe the police was not ethically moral. Um, Dilemma, or was this resolved? Um, in, to me, I don't think it was resolved properly. Even though they got their freedom, they spent many years in prison. And how they got it was not because of the government. It was actually an advocacy group. I think it was a university pro bono type of event. And this is how they actually got free. It wasn't a governmental push for it. In 2017, the governor of Virginia issued a full pardon. Um, and yeah, they were freed, but again, they spent so many years in prisons. I don't think it's fair. Even with the amount of money they got, they can never make up for this time. And that's it. This is my presentation. I really enjoyed this learning about this case because I was in the Navy. I have a lot of friends stationed in Norfolk. They have told me about this case, and I learned about a little bit about this case last semester. Thank you for your time.